I'm an addict for sneakers.
Alright, we are at Retro King, and we got the Adidas Bathing 8 collaboration with Damian Lillard on the Damian Lillard 4. Let's check them out. So as you can see up close, you've got your teeth vibe right there. You got your Adidas stripes, so iconic. You got your text up top, popping so nice with your camouflage and that Bape camo. Switch it around to the medial side. As you can see right there, you got that like Tony the Tiger vibe up top. And the teeth just look so tough on these. These are so sick in person. So sick. There's a look at the outsole. Let's get up close. That camo just looks so dope. With the eyes right there. I mean, just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Got your mesh on the tongue. Got some embossed text right there with this logo up top. So tough. On the footbed, you got the Adidas branding. Look, Tony Montana. Show me back. I'm messing around. Getting back. You got your Adidas branding over that camo, and then you got your Bathing 8 branding right there. And then looking at the back of the shoe, check it out, check it out, check it out. It's getting close up now. We'll just finish this off and just get real close up on it. These are gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit that thumbs up button if you did. Shout out once again to Retro Kings in North Carolina. Haynes Mall, check them out. And let me know what you think of these shoes right here. Hot or not. Leave your comments. Subscribe if you're new. Join the Patreon over at patreon.com/DJ Delz. And subscribe, of course. We out. Bomb. Kicking it. What's good? Back up in the building. It's your boy DJ Delz back with episode 2 of Kicking It, where we talk sneakers with people I find interesting from all over the world that have the same common interest as me and you. These kicks right here. My first guest is Jacques Slate. Let's shoot some questions to him and then ping pong back and forth. First, what I want to know is what sneaker first got this dude hype. So I know you hearing me right now, brother. What was that first sneaker that just got you hyped?
Yo, what up, DJ Delz and the Delz Nation? Is Delz Nation even a thing? I think I just made that up. But shout out to the Delz Nation. Anyway, I am Jacques Slade. Most people on the internet probably know me as Cousteau. So what up, what up, what up? Thanks for having me on the show. As far as a shoe that I was most hyped for, I don't say most hyped for, but a shoe that I remember being extra hyped for was the Reebok Pump. And that all happened because of D Brown. I remember as a kid, I loved basketball so much. And my older cousins, they were all into basketball too. So obviously I loved anything that they loved when I was a kid. And I remember we were all watching the dunk contest, and I saw D Brown reach down and pump these up and do that dunk, and my cousins went crazy. And so, of course, for me, I seeing them go crazy. I was like, oh, this must be awesome. Those shoes must be really, really awesome. So it was these, and I wanted these, but I never got them because mom's wasn't having that. These were like $120 back then, and that definitely wasn't gonna happen. That was $100 or something like that. Something crazy where I knew I wasn't going to get them, but I asked and I got to know, and I actually didn't get these until earlier this year. Maybe it was late last year, so I finally got me a pair, but that's not till 2014 or 2015. So yeah, sure, I was hyped for it. Definitely these. I remember that moment. It'll always be a moment in my head, just watching my cousins jump up off the couch and explode when he did the little hide your face dunk. And so I'll always be hyped for that just because of my fam in basketball. So yeah, the Reebok Pump.
Kicking it. Now I could definitely tell we're from the same generation because my shoe that got me hyped when I was a kid was these. these right here, the Reebok Twilight Zones. When I seen Dominique Wilkins wearing these, I was like, yo, I have to have them. And believe it or not, I was more hyped about this than them Jordans back in the days, man. This was the shoe to have back in the days, still the shoe to have now. Anyone that loves basketball and loves sneakers, especially Reebok, this is a grail for many. Something really interesting is when you actually learn something about the design of a shoe. Last episode we were talking about shoes that you look at and they remind you of something completely different than what it was supposed to be all about. Like for instance, if you've seen like a collaborator doing a shoe with a certain brand, it's supposed to be inspired by fill in the blanks, and then you look at the shoe and it reminds you of something totally different. Then there's just the whole fact of learning about shoes and what they are actually inspired by when it comes to simple things like even these laces here on the Jordan 11 being inspired by the actual net of the basketball hoop. Let's get back and talk more kicks with Cousteau.
A sneaker concept that's different. I can't say that I thought it was different, I just didn't know what it was until later on in life, and that shoe was the Air Max 95. I remember when I first saw it, again, it was just one of those things where I was like, wow, that's really, it was just crazy unique, you know, just because of the shape of the shoe and the way the lines flowed on the shoe, and I never knew exactly what it represented or what it stood for until later on in life when I found out that it was actually the spine, and then it all made sense to me. But I always knew that there was something really unique about the Air Max 95 and the way that the shape, the way it was shaped. I just didn't know that it was actually the human spine until later on in life. But now seeing that, knowing that it's the human spine, it absolutely makes sense to me. And shout out to the designer Sergio, who did a great job because he got me, and I didn't even know the intent or the concept of the shoe, but I saw it and I was hooked.
Kicking it. Now the next guest I have on Kicking It is Nightwing, who has his site weartesters.com. And he also, of course, has his YouTube channel, which is very infamous for his performance reviews and much more. So I want to chop it up with him and talk kicks. First, let's talk about favorite shoes. This shoe right here is definitely my favorite shoe, the Black and Infrared 6. This one is the retro with Nike on the back. And I just love this shoe. I think it looks great on feet. Definitely my favorite sneaker of all times. Not even my favorite Jordan, but my favorite sneaker of all times. Let's find out what shoe is one of Nightwing's favorite shoes of all times. Favorite basketball shoes of all times, matter of fact. Nightwing, what's good, homie?
Yo, what's good, Delz? This is Nightwing 2303 in case you guys don't know who I am. One of my all-time favorite sneakers is actually the Jumpman Pro. This was Jordan Brand's first team model. This was the first shoe that I saved up all summer long for. I mowed lawns, I picked weeds, I did all kinds of random stuff. I think I was like 13 or 14 at the time. And by the end of the summer, just before school started, I had enough money, which was back then $110, a lot of money. Grabbed my pair. And basically I've loved this shoe ever since. I went through a couple pairs. This is the pair that I still have that's like really nice and new, but it's not wearable any longer. Maybe I'll restore them one day, but who knows? I don't really have that much time as it is.
Kicking it. We all got funny stories when it comes to sneakers. I've shared plenty throughout the years on my YouTube channel. Let's check in with Nightwing and hear a funny story he'd like to share with me and you.
As far as a funny story, depends on who you ask. I think it's funny, my wife doesn't. But basically, back in 2006, my daughter was born on the same day that the White and Grape retro released, and I so wanted that shoe. So after my daughter came out and everything was good, I made sure I waited. I told my wife, I was like, hey babe, can I go and grab the new Jace that just dropped? You don't ask that, ever. Especially after they just had a baby. Long story short, I didn't get the shoes. I ended up getting the retro that released a couple years ago, and then I got rid of them because the quality was pretty trash, and my eyelets they're plastic, they already started to yellow for some reason, even though the clear soles were still nice and clear. I guess you can't win for losing.
Kicking it. Before you go though, Nightwing, just hit him with a bunch of sneakers that you love. You know, I know you showed one, but hit him with some more sneakers that you love. Like, of course, I showed these. Never go wrong with Air Force Ones. This is something I did on Nike ID. Puma Suedes, Reebok Twilight Zones. I was talking about how special these are before. Definitely love my Air Max 90s. And of course, another all-around favorite is the Superstars by Adidas. Love these Jam Master J's. I got one for you too. I know you love Star Wars like me, Nightwing. These are dope. The back of these, by the way, are just bananas. Now, with me showing some of my all-around favorites, we definitely gotta see some of Nightwing's all-around favorite kicks.
As far as an all-around favorite, it really depends on what day you ask me. You can never go wrong with the Reebok Question. Maybe even take it back to my high school days with the Air Jordan 15 Low. Maybe take it all the way back to my very first Air Jordan ever, which was the black and red Air Jordan 11. Being a Dubs fan, you know I gotta get me some Currys. One of my favorite shoes at the moment is actually the J Crossover 2. This is the first official shoe that I had input in during the wear testing process. They actually let me keep the original shoes too, so this was the first sample or prototype that I had, and actually has the J Crossover 1 midsole and outsole. And of course you can never ever go wrong with a pair of Air Jordan 4s.
My next guest, he's been on the show before, had to get back up with him. My dude is doing it major. He's in WWE, kicking some serious you know what now. You fill in the blanks. He's doing his thing. He's a Filipino like myself. Very proud of what he's doing in the WWE, in the Cruiserweight division. He is crushing it. I had to check back in with the homie, TJ Perkins. TJP! What's good, homie?
What's up, DJ Delz? This is TJ Perkins. Some of my favorite kicks that I am wearing right now, probably my all-time favorites would be of the ones that I have are the infrared 6s. I got these, you know, when they just released, I think a couple years ago. I was actually going in to try to find some sort of infrared Air Max like these, because I was looking for these for a while too, and it just turned out they had a restock at Chic or wherever it was, I think, and the dude was like, hey, you should pick these up, and turned out it's one of my favorites of all time. But so probably these infrared 6s, I've been able to score a couple what does recently. I have the KDs and the Kobe's. Like, I'm pretty big on these. I don't know, I just started to get into like more like colorful colorways and stuff with shoes recently, but these are a couple of my favorites I got right now. And I also was able to get the Hair 7s when they dropped recently as well. So a lot of these are like, a few of these, like the 6s and these are like older models, obviously like retros and stuff that, you know, kind of remind me of growing up and around that time. Unlike a lot of the hype guys, I'm also really big, not on like all types of like fusion shoes or anything like that, but because I love everything like from the 6s and under, I always really like the Son of Mars. So especially if, like, you know, you're a fan of the 3, 4, 5, and 6. If you're a fan of those and you don't think that these are fire, then you are trying to be a shoe snob, because these are literally everything that's awesome about those shoes. So that is just a little bit of the favorite stuff that I got recently that I'm wearing right now, and so yeah, that's it for right now. But shout out DJ Delz, thank you.
Kicking it! And that concludes today's episode of Kicking It. Thanks for watching today's episode. Thank you to my guests for coming through. Kicking it! Doug, what's in the bag? Come on.
DJ Delz, kiss my ass.